Right. All right. So, Io, you want to kind of kick us off?
Right, okay. So while we're still waiting for the other people to join, like I said to each and every one of you, I stumbled upon Jenny Star. I think it was 2017, 2018. I wasn't meant to even be in that program in the first place. I think it was Evangelist Sheeta that was supposed to go for it. It was invited by Gary Smythe, and then he had a program in Nigeria. So he said, "Oh, Io, can you please drive my wife to this event?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So I took his wife to the event, and lo and behold, it was Jeff speaking. And as you all know, as Nigerians, we're very always skeptical when people start talking finances, and everyone just goes, okay, what are they saying again? Where are they gonna hit us from now? We've got this experience from church and stuff where anyway, let's not get into that's a anyway. So I listened to Jeff, and it was
Io, are you telling me that that email I got last week from Nigeria that I've got 87 million coming to me is not
exactly
real?
exactly the Nigerian prince and all of that. Anyway, so yeah. When I listened to Jeff, it was honesty. It was different. It wasn't asking us to buy anything. I just felt for someone to leave his busy schedule and try to help lift others. That for me was like, oh wow, that was a game changer for me. And he started saying some. You were talking that day about how you had some issues growing up, and then you had a job, and people were buying their Ferraris and their cars and stuff, but you kind of stuck with it. You paid off your mortgage while people were buying new cars, and then you helped your church pay off the mortgage. I don't know if you remember saying that story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that story that just stuck with me. That I can't forget. It's over 5 years now, and I still remember it. How, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. So this is someone speaking to us, not because of what they want to gain, actually giving us life tips and stuff of how he climbed all the way to the top. And for me, that was impressive. And I said, when you called me on Thursday, Friday, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get as many people as possible. I don't know why the others have not joined now. They all did say they were going to join, but anyway, there he is, and this is Jeff, is the CEO of Genistar, and that's Anna. Anna is the vice president of Genistar. Yeah, that's my introduction. I don't know what
Right.
else to say.
Thank you so much, Io.
Yeah.
Right. Anna, do you want to say anything before I jump in?
Yes, I would. It's great to have everybody on, and what Io just said was so much of what my late husband used to say to people. That when Jeff came to our church, Roger used to say, well, he used to tell people the story about how he expected this man who had this sort of reputation of being a millionaire going before him, that he expected him to turn up in a Ferrari with a Rolex watch on. And Roger used to say how Jeff used to get the bus and he used to have a Casio watch. And I think the place that you truly live is where you are helping others. It's where you give, and it does say in the Bible, does it not, we're more blessed to give than receive. And I've known Jeff for over a decade now, and I see that all over his life, and I'm living in the slipstream of that, through also what my late husband pioneered within Genistar. Very grateful to have met Io. I've been contacting many clients that my late husband connected with. Io was one that I connected earlier in, well, this year, I think it was, wasn't it, Io? And that was the connection through Gary. And I did have actually had coffee with Gary this morning and his wife Cheryl, and he told me that you you really did, on that first initial meeting, Io, you really took on board, and perhaps you might, if you're comfortable, to tell more of the story of what you did, but with Gary, in terms of putting the principles, the financial principles that you did learn through that first education that you received with Gary, I think back in 2017, because I think that very much impacted Gary and Cheryl, and they still were telling me that story today. And obviously, you and Grace together as a partnership work together to establish something quite special for you both in terms of the financial concepts and what you learned. So at the right time, maybe we can hear that story.
I did say to them as well that it's not every time you get a millionaire sitting in a Zoom call with you. So yeah. So everyone is saying, "Can I become a millionaire? Can I get millions?" I'm like, "Yeah, just come in, come and listen to him."
Well, thank you, Io, and thank you, Anna, for pulling the call together, and thank you to all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules. And as you can tell from my accent, I'm not from North London. I'm originally from the US, but my wife and I moved here 20 years ago. So we moved here in 2003. We now live in both in London, and we also have a home in Bath. And that's actually where I'm calling you from. We literally just exchanged and completed on it a week ago. So we've got another home in Salisbury, and so we're moving everything in here in a couple of weeks. So if my internet is unstable, I've got one of these little mini hubs, that they got me on. So apologies if it's not super clear. But I thought what might be nice is for me just to give you a little bit of my background, a little bit of my story. And I'm originally from the U.S., from Chicago, and was born and raised in a Jewish family. When I was 5, I have an older sister. She would have been 7. My brother would have been 11. Very sadly, my father had a business failure, lost everything financially, and the problem is he equated his self-worth with his net worth. And when he lost everything, he just went into deep depression and ended up taking his own life, left my mother not only penniless, but distraught emotionally. She had a nervous breakdown, became an alcoholic, and she died two and a half years later. My brother and sister and I were all in and out of orphanages and foster homes. And at age 13, I finally was in my 6th home, and I ran away and lived on the streets of Chicago until I was 15 years old. Got into drugs and selling drugs, and or as my old pastor asked me once, he said, "What was your first job?" I said, "It was when I was 13. It was pharmaceutical sales." And so, I was a street kid, and at 15, I ended up just miraculously getting my life straightened out. I had a guy that I'd known in Chicago. I hitchhiked 400 miles away to visit him on a hippie commune. And when I got there, he and my hippie buddies were all having a Bible study, and they'd all accepted the Lord in their life and just totally turned their lives around. And the same thing happened to me at 15. And I went back to high school, became an honor student, met the only other hippie in the high school was a girl. Her name was Margot. We met when we were 15 and became friends and dated from 16 to 19, got married when we were 19, and we've been married now for 47 years. And which just goes to show you that, you can come from a really tough background, but you don't have to base your future based on your history. Or as I always like to say, don't allow your your history to predict your destiny. And so, my life began to turn around. I got into business when I was 19, into the financial services business. and was doing well, was making a great income. But a friend of mine approached me about the Genistar business model in the US. It's called Primerica. And I went to the seminar, much like what you're here listening to today, whether it's live or the recording. And I was so intrigued about how that I could actually learn. So even though I was in finance, I was a little bit like the cobbler who never fixed his own shoes. And so here I was, not really understanding how to get my own finances in line. And when I saw this concept, I was like, wow, I think I could build a business. So I started part-time, probably 6 to 8 hours a week, a couple of evenings a week. I kept my full-time job. My wife was a school teacher. We were both working. And my first year part-time, working a couple evenings a week, I actually made equivalent to what my full-time income was, which was 28,000, that first year. We paid all of our credit card debts off, our car payments, got out of debt, and then I went full-time. I don't know about you guys, but I never liked someone putting their thumb on me at a job where, I had to do what they said. And I don't know, maybe I was a bit rebellious, but I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I just didn't have the guts to walk away from my full-time job and take that risk. So I started part-time. And as I began to build a team, 12 months later, so literally it took me 24 months, I was making $10,000 a month, which is a nice income today, but we're talking 40 years ago, okay? And Margot and I, the guy that mentored me was a guy by the name of Art Williams. And here's what he told us. He said, when you start making more income, don't let your lifestyle rise with that same income. Start saving 50% of your income. Now, I don't know how many of you go to church or whatever, and I'm not preaching to here, but we were always tithers. I was a tither since I was 16 years old. It was the other 90% that I didn't know what to do with. And at age 24, we did this financial analysis that we do for clients. We call it a financial game plan. Shows you all your assets, all your liabilities, and of course, then your net worth. And our net worth at 24 was $10,000. And I said to my wife, when I saw the analysis, I said, well, it isn't great, but at least we're on the right track. And she said, Jeff, there's a minus sign in front of the 10,000. And so our equity, we were in debt with credit cards and, car payments and a mortgage on a house. And, we just were not worth, well, we're negative equity. 6.5 years later, our net worth was over $1 million. And that was 35 years ago. So, it's one thing to make it. It's another thing to keep it and to continue to build on that. And the principles that we were taught, the 10 basic principles of financial freedom, are not rocket science. Anybody can do it. I don't care what your background is, your education. There really are those 10 basic principles. In fact, Anna and I, maybe what you guys could do is send everybody the free ebook, Your Journey to Financial Freedom, which goes through those 10 principles. So I built that business in the US for 22 years. We were acquired by Citigroup, and then they wanted to open and expand into the United Kingdom, this division of Primerica. So we were asked to come over here with a few other people and establish that company in 2003, which we did. And we started building that here. And then we ended up in 2007, Citi was starting to see the early days of the financial crisis, and they closed the company down. The other founders moved back to the US, and Margot and I stayed, and we began to build a new company here with the Brits that stayed here with us. One of them is who Anna reports to now, is a guy by the name of Steve Jenkins. He was one of the founders of that company. So we've been going now here. I've been here for 20 years, 4 of those years with Citigroup, and then 16 years that we've had Genistar, going. And it's amazing when you think about it. In school, what do they teach you about money? They don't teach you anything about money. And so what we do at Genistar, kind of a synopsis, is we teach people financial education, some of those basic, we teach them all the 10 principles, and we do what we call a business overview. So we have kind of two arms. One is if you just want to be a client, and we can help people with mortgages, investments, property, insurance, wills and trusts, pretty much the whole package when it comes to personal finance. But we're not just trying to flog a product. We're not trying to sell anything to anybody other than get a plan together and get all the facts. I believe it was Solomon who said in Proverbs, a wise man gets all the facts before he makes a decision. Well, most people spend more time planning a family holiday than they do their road to financial freedom. And so that's really what we do, is we help educate people. We help stimulate their brain about how to think about money, how to do the right things with money. It's amazing. We go through 14,000 hours of education in school. We don't learn anything about money. And so is it no wonder that when 95% of the people get to be age 65 or 67, 95% of the people are either dead or dead broke. And only 5% of the people are actually financially independent. And it's not because that the people didn't make enough money. It's because they didn't know what to do. I know that, again, those of you that are churchgoers and Bible believers, you'll know the scripture that says, without a vision, my people perish. It also says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And in this case, it's about money. It's about finance, and finance affects every single area of our life. And so it's not the most important thing, but boy, it sure is up there probably with air, okay? And we all have to deal with it every single day, whether it's paying the bills or making a donation or whatever it might be. And so what we'd really like to do is I've been working with Anna. She mentioned a couple of times about her late husband. Anna and Roger, I don't think she'll mind me mentioning this, together they were building this business. We have a lot of couples that work together. And Roger was a key guy, a foundation stone in Genistar. And Roger and Anna have just always been a real powerhouse. And very sadly, December of 2021, Roger suddenly passed away at what, Anna, was it 50?
Yeah, that's
50,
yeah.
50 years old. Yeah, it was, and obviously what a shocker. And so Anna made a decision that she wanted to step in and continue to run the business. And what a talented lady, and tough as nails. I mean, she is. So when you think about her spouse, passing away less than 18 months ago, and she's just been just a stalwart from, hey, it's an emotional thing. And he was really my best friend. I was telling Anna the other day, I said, I used to call Roger up and get some pastoral counsel from him, And so, so we're looking for people that are ambitious, people that want to do something special with their lives. And the other day I was talking to Anna, and I said, Anna, how can I help you? And she said, Jeff, I got a couple of new rising stars in my team. And do you think you could work with us? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. This is the part of the business that I love. And I've been doing this for 40 years. And I still love what I do. Many of my friends go, Jeff, when are you going to retire? You're 66. I'm like, man, I still got the strength of a 25-year-old. Okay, I'm excited about helping people. I'm excited about showing people how to do exactly what Margot and I did, how to go from where we were to becoming, multimillionaires. And anybody can do it. You just have to, there's a I think it's Tony Robbins who says success leaves clues. And I'm telling you, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, okay? But boy, I am tenacious. Give me a system I can work, I'll follow it to the T. And the guys that were my mentors, I just said, listen, I'm not very creative, but boy, I'm a good copycat. And that was what they did for me, is they showed me a system, a franchise system, if you will, that I could go build, a business. So today wasn't to try to recruit you or anything else, or just try to kind of to meet you, whet your appetite, let you ask some questions if you'd like to. And then there's a business overview that we could either send you the recording, okay, or we have a live one this evening at what time is it, Anna? At
7:30.
7:30. So it's only a couple hours. If that doesn't work, we can send you the recording, or we're doing another live one special for Anna and Io and their team next Monday night. But again, we're happy to send you the recording. And then basically you can do a follow-up interview with Io and Anna. So Anna or Io, anything else you want to add to that?
I think, yeah, I mean, it's fabulous to see everybody on, and I think it's, I can remember and know that there's many people in the business who made a step in, and then it, they stuck with it and continue to learn. And as you go along, you sort of, your eyes are opened to the opportunity, and really the opportunity that you're presented with here. In particular, the passive income. I can remember Roger used to say, tell a story about how he was bowling with our daughters, and when he first received that first sort of income into our bank account, when he was bowling with our daughters, and someone on the team had done some work and that income came in. And so it's keeping an open mind, if you haven't come across this type of business before, keep that open mind, find out, get your questions answered, and keep going. And you never know what can happen in your life.
I think also one of the things that if you do decide to, get involved, as Anna said, just at least stay open-minded, keep looking at it. It's, we're not going to pressure you, because we don't like to be pressured. But I think one of the great things about our business is you'll see a lot of diversity and inclusivity. So we have, just as an example, we have over 50% of our top leaders are female. Okay. I don't know the percentage of what, would be African, Caribbean, but it's a large percentage. Okay. It's probably 35-40% of our top leaders. We have a large group of Filipinos, and we did a study a couple of years ago. We had people from 85 different nations, and out of the three core principles that we set up in the company, number one is honesty and integrity. Okay, if it's not true, don't say it. And the beauty of our business is if you always tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said. And so when Anna says she's known me for a decade, I think that probably the best thing that you can have going in your life is your reputation. Okay. We've had people approach us to make loads of money selling something that I would never own. And one of the things that we established up front is we said we will only offer to our clients what I would personally own. Well, that gives you integrity. The second thing is diversity and inclusivity. And that is, it shouldn't matter what your age is, shouldn't matter what your gender is, shouldn't matter what your nationality is, or the color of your skin, or anything else. Okay. And I think that's pretty unusual. I mean, people might talk about it, but is it really, really practiced? A few years ago, when the whole Black Lives Matter, and I'm not just saying this, Io, because of yourself or any of the people on here, but when it happened, I called up our top Black leaders, and I said, guys, listen, I don't want to do this just because it's politically correct, but what can I do to show my support? And I loved their answer. I mean, it just kind of gave me chills. And they said, Jeff, you've already done it. From day one, you gave everybody the same exact opportunity. And Barbara Anderson, who was our first, Black female to make $100,000 a year in 12 months. Barbara said, Jeff, I have the same opportunity as everybody else. And she said, I'm treated with respect and dignity. And again, that's one of the things that we really, really pride ourselves on. And then the other thing is our whole focus really is about helping people to help themselves, helping to really educate people and to become financially free. We have people part-time making anywhere from 500 pounds a month to 5,000 pounds a month. We have full-timers that are making anywhere from 30,000 a year to $250,000 a year. Okay. And I think we're really just kind of getting started. In Primerica, our former company in the US, now they've been around for 45 years, they have people making $5 million a year. Okay. And I believe that we will have people making that kind of income here in Genistar. I think we're just at this tipping point where things are really getting ready to take off. And we've had a 16-year foundation put in place. So, Ayo, anything else you want, or do we have any questions? If you want to either put it in the chat group or unmute yourself, I'd be more than happy. You've probably heard this before. The only dumb question is the one that you don't ask.
No, I don't have anything else to add. I mean, yeah. You did say for us to send the financial freedom booklet to everyone. I will do that. And that's what I can guarantee I will do. Sorry, go on.
Well, I'm just going to say, and if you have the link for this evening's business overview, if anybody would like to join the live one, that's with Steve Jenkins, who's our Senior National Sales Director. Then obviously you can join that. And if not, then Anna, you can, I don't know if Ayo has it or not, but send them the recording. And then at least we can give everybody the link for tonight, the recording, if you can't make tonight, or you just want to take your time listening to it. And then also the complimentary copy of the Your Journey to Financial Freedom. And, if you decide to do something with it, fantastic. If you don't, at least you're going to learn something. And if you already know everything in the book, then you definitely need to work with us and help teach everybody else those principles, So any questions that anybody might have?
A lot of them are camera shy. I don't know why everyone
Yeah,
is
no questions. You've said it all.
Great.
Yeah, you said it all, and I think I've heard a lot before I joined, and you're saying this now, at least it's, giving us more assurance that everything is going to go well anyway. So thank you very much for this.
You're welcome, Patrick. And one of the things, that I told Ayo yesterday, I said, Ayo, this is not what I normally do. Okay. I mean, I'm running the company. We're just getting ready to expand into South Africa. We got lots of other things, happening in the company. But when Anna said to me, Jeff, I think Ayo has got the potential to go become a senior national sales director. I said, what? I said, I gotta, she said, you met him a long time ago, but I said, well, we need to get with him. And so when we spoke to him last week, I said, Ayo, I want to take you under my wings here. I mean, if you're half as good as what Anna says you are, then man, you're going to be a superstar. And so that's why I said, why don't you pull some of your best friends together, people that they're ambitious, motivated, that you think would at least be open-minded to listen, more. There's no pressure on anybody or anything else. We appreciate you guys coming and at least, listening. So Anna and Ayo, if we could send those links, the one for this evening, if you want to listen to the live one, and that'll be much more than what I just kind of gave you my personal story, sort of prime the pump. Steve will really get into the more about who we are, what we do, and the compensation plan, and give you much more. But again, we do that on this link that Anna will send you, that Steve and I did the recording. And then we'll also send you the complimentary copy of the book, Your Journey to Financial Freedom. And we'd love to work with you. My goal over the next 10 years is to create another 1,000 millionaires. So if you want to be one of them, I'd love to be your mentor. Great.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
You're welcome, Io. Io, one last thing. I know I told you before everybody came on, but years ago I was speaking in London. It was at a Nigerian church. I was the only white guy in there. And after I got done preaching, the pastor came up and said, "Jeff, remember when Jesus gave all the disciples new names?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, your name is no longer Jeff. Your new name is Olugbenga," which is God. And that's in Yoruba, isn't it?
Yeah, Yoruba.
It's
Yeah.
Yoruba. God has lifted me up. So, yeah, we've spoken at a lot of Nigerian. In fact, just a few about 6 weeks ago, I was the keynote speaker at Jesus House for a men's conference in London. Yeah,
I know Pastor. What's his name again? Pastor Agu and Pastor
Agu. Yeah.
I know them personally because I used to go to that church.
What a great guy. Yeah, good friend. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And listen, Io, I'm here to help serve you.
Okay.
Work with Anna. Work with Steve Jenkins. You got three, well, at least two great leaders, Anna and Steve. And I'm just kind of tagging along. But honestly, we really are here to take you guys under our wings to help Anna to grow her business, which obviously affects any of you. So if I could make a suggestion, Io, if you could send all of them, the links in the book, and then you and Anna can follow up with those that do have a further interest.
I will, definitely. I will.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to someday meeting every single one of you and shaking your hands. And if you're not a millionaire yet, I can tell you this, I've never met a future millionaire I didn't like.
That's good.
All right. Thank you, guys. So good to meet you.
Have a nice evening.
Bye-bye.
All
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Have a nice evening. Thank you.